Hey designers, this is Kristen from Cut File Classroom, where I share tips and tutorials for designing SVG cut files that work with Cricut, Silhouette, and other cutting machines. In this video, I'm going to show how to create this echoed text design in Adobe Illustrator. First, I'll show how to create this top version, which has each word with a different fill color, and then I'll show how to create this bottom version where the top word is actually transparent. If you want to follow along, I'll include a link in the description below where you can download this Illustrator file which has the completed design along with the same color palette I used, and I'll also include links to download this font which is called Blackfat. First, I'll begin by moving these over to the side so I have a clean artboard to work with. Then I'll press T on my keyboard to bring up the type tool, and I'll just click and start typing the word that I want to use in my design. Now I need to expand this text to create vector shapes from it, but before I do that, I'm going to press Alt and drag and just create a copy of this text over to the side of the workspace. I always do this whenever I'm working with text, just in case I need to come back and make edits later. So now I'm going to head back to my artboard, and I'm going to go ahead and create outlines for this text by pressing Command-Shift-O on my keyboard if you're on a Mac, or Control-Shift-O if you're on a Windows. And that's going to turn each letter into its own vector shape. So now I'm just going to press Shift-X on my keyboard, and that's going to give me this black outline. And then I'm going to select these overlapping letters and click Unite in the Pathfinder panel to make them all one shape. And then I'm going to just thicken up this stroke weight. I'm going to make it, let's do 4 points. And then I can give this a fill color. So I'll give it this cream color. And now I'm going to make a copy of this word by pressing Alt on my keyboard as I click and drag. Now I'm going to send this copy that I made to the back by pressing Command-Shift left bracket key or Control-Shift left bracket key on Windows. And then I'm going to make copies in between these by selecting the Blend tool from the toolbar. And then with the Blend tool, I'm going to click on the top word and then the bottom word. And now we see there's copies that were made in between. Now if you don't get the number of copies that you want, you can come over and double click on the Blend tool. And you can make sure that this is set to specified steps, and then you can change this number to something else and click preview to see how it looks. Now in this case I'm going to stick with 2 and click OK. Now this blend we made is actually a live effect, which means that I can still make changes to these original words and it's going to update the copies automatically. So I can kind of play around with this angle to get it how I want it to look before I go ahead and commit to this. But in order to continue with this design, I actually need to expand this blend so that each word is its own vector shape. So I'm going to come up to the top menu and choose Object, Blend, Expand. And now we can see that each of those copies is now its own vector shape. So now I can double click on this because when we create a blend it's automatically a group. So I just double clicked to get inside of this group, and now I'm just going to give each word its own separate fill color. Okay, so now the next step is to expand these stroke outlines. So what I'm going to do is come up to the top menu again and click Object, Path, Outline, Stroke. And with everything still selected, I'm going to come over to the Pathfinder panel and click Trim. So now the next step is to make sure that each separate color is a compound path so that this file uploads correctly into our cutting software. So I'm going to go over to the Magic Wand tool in the toolbar, and I'm going to double click on that to open the Magic Wand options window. And I'm just going to make sure that fill color is checked and the tolerance is set to 1. Now I can come over and click on one of the colors. So I clicked on this cream color and it selected all of the cream colors in the entire design. And now I can make this a compound path by choosing Command or Control 8 on my keyboard. Next I can click on this yellowy color and do Command or Control 8, then pink, Command or Control 8, then teal, Command or Control 8, And then I can select the black outlines, and first I need to make these into one single shape. So I'm going to unite them in the Pathfinder panel, and now I can also click Command or Control 8 to make those a compound path as well. So that's it, our design is done. So now when I click on the outlines and move them away, we can see that the outlines are all one shape, and then the separate color, the fill colors, are also their own separate shapes. And then to create this version where the top layer is transparent, all you're going to do is click on this top layer and click delete. And that's it. If you're interested in learning more about designing and selling SVG cut files, head over to Cut File Classroom, where I've got even more videos, tutorials, and resources to help you out. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any questions you may have down in the comments below. I'll see you next time.